Hey Kenny, just wanted to go over this trim kit installation. Anyhow, we've got this custom plug made for the freezing that's going on in the valve so that it has less friction surface area within the bushing to stick. But anyhow, I wanted to go over this real quick just because there's some slight things that aren't really shown in that digital video. But to start with, you've got 4 gaskets. The smallest gasket, so here's your seat ring. That's the top. The bottom side has the grooves where the gasket goes. But if it were me, I would put anti-seize on the bottom of this, stick the gasket on there, and then turn it over so that it doesn't fall off, and drop it in the valve. And the reason I say that is because that gasket's tight fitting here, and sometimes the gasket will hang up, and if it hangs up, it cocks the seat ring, it cocks the retainer, causes a lot of problems. So I'd put the gasket on there first and then turn it over and lower it into the valve and then drop it in the pocket. And I always like to rotate it once I get it in the pocket just to make sure there's nothing binding up. So next, we have the plug. I have to put the plug in because the retainer has to go over the plug. Okay, now we've got our retainer. So I normally get the retainer started in. And I'll pick up the plug and let it hang from there. And then we drop it down into the body. The biggest issue on these is right here. So if everything doesn't line up properly, the cage won't sit correctly in the valve body. And it should be about 200 thousandths underneath this gasket surface. If it's not, then you have a problem, and you should be able to turn this very smoothly. Shouldn't be any friction, any binding. So once you've got that done, now you're down to 3 gaskets. First gasket is the spiral wound. So the spiral wound spreads and makes sure that the cage is centered and compressed downward, and it requires a shim on top of the spiral wound, and then your body to bonnet seal. So this goes across the top of the shim and the spiral wound and across the top of the body. I always use high temperature anti-seize on everything when I do it, just how I was taught. Seems to work well. Then you drop your bonnet on, put your packing in, all that good stuff, and then torque these to 200 foot-pounds and call it a day.